Hey everybody, Larry here, Boxcars Garage. So it has been a while, and I need to give you guys an update as to what is going on with the 34. So let's get into it. So the most work that's been going on, this dude has been with the chassis. If you remember, if you've been in the earlier videos, I had to rebuild basically everything, toward the front of the chassis. That's a modified Model A front cross member there, and I've done a couple things to it that I had to. I had to notch it for my lower radiator hose setup, and I've been looking at things as far as it setting with the weight on it and everything, and I think I'm going to be good there. The spring gets close to this indentation here on the underside, of course, but I have the clearance that I believe that I can live with if I put like a couple of spacers on the top of my spring pack, at the middle, pushes everything, moves everything down, and I think I'm going to be okay there. But I really didn't have a lot of options with how this worked out, and I've seen other people do it as well. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be okay there. The boxing on the main rails is tacked in place, but I need to. The next thing that's going to happen with this chassis is that I'm going to end up breaking it down, taking the motor and transmission off, and stripping her down and getting her set up on the rotisserie that I have out back, and get this thing welded out and dressed out, and hopefully primered and painted, and then reassembled to where I've got just like one roller chassis to move around and deal with while I bring the body in here and do some repairs. But we'll talk about what I've done here on the chassis since we last was together. So as I said, the first thing that I did was I had to get my motor mount squared away, and I've got some pictures of the evolution of design regarding the motor mounts. But these are this particular mount, this rubber mount is common to I think it's like 64, 65 Mustang, and the center of it's got a big like half-inch bolt that shoots out kind of at an angle. And then I made up this to integrate with how that motor mount was fashioned. And then I also added some details to it to help me with clearancing. You can see right here where I've radiused this to allow my my steering input to come here to the Vega box, and then I got I've got some clearance to get to the top of the Vega box, but I had to pretty much just make things straight here because of my exhaust. So I think these are some Sanderson F1s. They're block huggers, and I really like them. I like where they land as far as the collector, and I think it's really about as good as I could have hoped for as far as how they're gonna relate to the engine bay there. And then this piece of metal right here, this should accurately reflect my firewall. So you can see kind of an idea as to how much recess I'm going to have to do to the firewall by kind of just eyeballing across there. I'll get a lot more detailed than that later, but that was kind of like I was just watching that while I was setting my motor and you know, the up and down, the back and forth and all that. But I've got to finish welding out my my motor mounts, and it's really kind of like a two-piece system. The motor mounts weld to a plate that goes and kind of grabs the top and bottom of the rails, and then this will get welded all the way around, you know, and everything will get welded out and dressed up and whatever. I didn't want to like just trust a joint down here of like this mount coming up to the side of the boxing plate. My boxing plate is only 1/8 of an inch steel, and I was kind of uncomfortable with the, you know, the mass of that boxing plate. I didn't think I wanted to hang a motor off of an 1/8 inch plate. I don't have a whole bunch of background in this, but it didn't seem like a good plan to me, so I kind of came up with this design in order to distribute the forces that I believe are going to exist that I'm not sure that exist. So there's going to be, you know, less of an issue, I think, than if I would have went to the plate. So that's what those look like. They should clean up and paint up nice, I'm hoping. And then in order to open up things here for the transmission housing, those are sections of 46 Ford K-member pieces that I scavenged, which I think turned out pretty cool. You know, it's a different size of circle, but all in all, it looks, you know, cohesive. This is my original frame. It was good overall, and the places where it was bad, I needed to fix it, and I did. But I hated the thought of separating an original frame from a pretty much original car. I was like, I don't want to be the guy that does that. I want to try to run this frame. So here it is. Here's my transmission mounts. Again, they're not completely welded up. I've got some pictures of the fabrication of these that I can drop in there. This is some heavy rectangular tubing right here, like some, not quite, probably like 3/16 inch. And then it's notched to allow the pad to kind of sit in there, and then it's boxed on the inside to kind of just close it up neat. There's 2 bolts that will hold that transmission cross member in place. There they are on the bottom, and it should just drop right out. Again, I used that salvaged 46 Ford K-member material here to make a plate out of. It was perfect as far as size goes. It just slipped right in between the existing rails, and we were good to go pretty quick with that. But my motor is sitting where it should be, and I checked it about a gajillion times, and so I'm happy. I'm happy with how things are going right now. A lot of welding and work to do in the future, but I think the last video we talked about this whole ladder bar setup. They still haven't been completely welded out yet, and nothing's happened back here at all. I still have the temporary, these are coilover mock-ups right here that are compressed at a rate that I should expect when I have the coilovers on there, and that's what I've been mocking up from. But yeah, a lot of welding to go. I've got just a little side conversation. I haven't put this stuff up yet. This isn't. This is tools that I saved from the recycler. My local recycler. Somebody just arbitrarily dumped a whole bunch of tools in the bin, and that drives me crazy. I can't handle it. So I got to give them a better life, or get them to somebody that will. So anyway, I scored these the other day, and check out this level right here. I've got another one just like this. This one doesn't have a maker's name on it that I've been able to find yet, but it's got the protected vials. You just slide that right there, and you get your vial there, which is cool. So this one is good and not broken. This one is good and not broken. This one is a good that. This bottom one is broken. So excuse me. So that's the way that goes. But you can do anything you want to as long as you got the two. But yeah, I can't believe people. Here's a quiz for you. Do you know what this tool is? I will tell you at the end of this video. Okay, let me see. Let's go out and talk about the body real quick. Here's the rotisserie I gotta get fitted up to the frame. I scored this locally, and I think it's only been used like twice, but then they left it outside and it got all rusted up. I may end up shooting this with some sandblaster action and painting it up to where, then I put it away, maybe nice, keep it nice. But it's a good one. I mean, it's better than what I had anticipated using. So here's the car, just sitting there minding its own business. I've got I still haven't located my I need some door guards that clean up and cover up this side, this face, and rolls up over and holds the carpet down. I don't have a pair of those. I've been looking for one of those kind of off and on. Got some metal repair to do up underneath here, rotted off, and I've got a whole bunch of floor in the back that I've got to build. And then of course I'm probably going to end up with I know I'm going to end up with a trans tunnel to some degree along the back. I haven't got all that figured out yet, but I've been kind of thinking on it. And of course my firewall is going to have to get cut back and clearanced and whatever. So, but yeah, this is what's going on. I had a swap meet that I had to cover down on a while back at Moultrie, Georgia. They do it twice a year. So swap meet was kind of a slow swap meet, but I'm still happy with how I did. It was better than going to work. Look at this. This is like something only a mother could love right here. This was a project that I saved from the scrapper. It was a failed chop attempt, 41 Plymouth. It's got that could be a gasser look to it. I've just been trying to sell it off and get it out of my way. I don't know what I was thinking. I shouldn't have bothered with it. I should have just gave it a farewell salute. but I didn't. I brought it home. And now I got to decide if I want to be. The problem is, so they screwed up the chop, and they only had one of the chunks that they cut out. There was one of them in the car. The rest of them are gone. And that may or may not have taken me by surprise that they were all gone. I may have prematurely assumed that since I saw the one in there, there must be all of them in there. But yeah, so, do I want to deal with that? And still, if I was to stabilize this roof and build those pieces, that is just time given away, because I'm, this is, for all intents and purposes, this is going to probably remain a $400 to $600 car, right? So if I spend a week on it, I'm basically just working on it a week to get it out of here. And if I really want to get it out of here that bad, it's still sitting on the trailer. I can take it back where it came from. But then that would be me acknowledging the fact that I did something wrong. I would be taking a hit. And pride factor keeps me from doing that. So anyway, had a couple people hit me up. Nobody showed up to make it happen yet. So, and it's missing the hood. That's the biggest thing that it's missing, is missing the hood. So, but I could just see this with a big old mean Hemi in it and setting up in the air, and that'd be cool. But I don't have time for that right now. No. Okay, well, let me spin you around here. We're going to sign off and get this out to you. Okay, well, this is a quick and dirty update. I know you guys deserve more because you've waited as long as you have, or if you just found me randomly. Hey, how you doing? I've got a bunch of videos you might want to check out. Maybe catch up with the 34 and decide if you want to follow the 34 build or not. My goal on the 34 is to potentially be driving it within this calendar year, but we'll have to just keep on going and get some work done. So anyway, thanks for checking out what I got going on, and I'll see you here shortly. Bye.